Hey, okay, there was another couple of things that I wanted to share from the previous video that I didn't. So that cop that stopped us, he was seemingly this really nice guy. But the thing is, he he did a scan on us. He said, "Oh, I'll just do a scan on your vehicle. I'm just gonna search it up." And he tried to claim, he said, "I wasn't seeing any insurance on your vehicle." And I was like, "We just made a payment on it. We just made another payment just last week." And he was saying, "Oh, I'm not saying that's not the case. I'm just going to say that might be. I mean, that might be an error." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's definitely an error because we just paid it." And he was trying to say there was no insurance. And then he said, "Well, he put on there no insurance, like neglect to have vehicle insured or something like that. Like it was basically saying it was our neglect. We have insurance, so why would a cop say the officer have on his computer that we have no insurance when we just paid the fee, paid the bill last week?" And they come and say they claim that we didn't. That's another thing they put on there. And he said, "You were driving too slow, and then now we got to pay some stupid fine." He said, "You were driving too slow in this lane. I mean, in this road." And I'll tell you when we drove slow. I'm going to talk about that again in this video. This just happened tonight. We were heading back from Walmart. We were trying to get home because I had gotten several groceries, some stuff that I was going to hopefully cook this weekend. And hopefully Daddy will have something to eat. And yeah, we'll cook something for him. I'll cook something for him and Mama, and I've got some groceries. And well, he stops us. He turns on his blue lights and said we were driving too slow. And I said, "Well, we always drive really slow through that light right there because before we get up on it to make sure it doesn't change, because this is the way that camera light does. It will flash you with a bright white light if you make the wrong move. Even if you turn right on red, that light will stop you," and it has. We had to have that thrown out a long time ago with that light because it was stopping many people who turned right on red after stopping. Another thing that light will do, you have to be very careful with these camera lights. Try to avoid them if you possibly can. Go another route, anything you can do to avoid that crap. But he got us for going too slow. And now we've got to call and pay a stupid fine. We had just gotten out of the Walmart, and so what they wanted to do was just put a seatbelt and driving too slow fine on us. I literally saw people doing literally everything, and you know what people do while driving. You know the crazy things people do while driving. Doesn't take far. Just look it up and you'll see. Or even look around you. Heck, all you gotta do is look around you, and you'll see everything from texting, drinking, people high as a kite. These two people got in their vehicle. She walked into a pole because she was high as frick from Walmart, and she said he said he had to pull her this way to the right toward the vehicle. She gets in the driver's side, and he said, "Are you sure you're going to be able to drive?" And she said, "No." She's like, "Yeah, I'll be all right." And he said, "Okay, good, because I'm high as, right now." He's like, "I'm higher than you are." I'm thinking, then you don't need to be driving. And they almost backed out. They could have backed out on someone, but they didn't. But they could have. They backed out barely, braking, and then trying to drive forward. You know the things people do while driving. The naughtiness, explicitness, the texting, the drinking, the smoking, the typing, the fumbling with things and trying to do their hair and all this stuff. And everything you name under the sun, that's what people do going down the road. And on a curvy road, that's even worse. But I'll tell you. He could have stopped any of those people, but he didn't. They were high as crap. Didn't need to be on the road. They were completely messed up. So much so that she literally ran into the pole, like I said. Ran into the pole. And we're the ones they stop. People going by us drinking, and we're with a light on, we're the ones stopped. I've seen that stuff all the time. Just like in another county, same thing happened. This one guy had a huge gun in the vehicle. Another guy had it was like a rifle, but the other guy had a beer in his hand. Then other people doing explicit activities of sexually explicit activity, and then another person just driving with a beer, drinking it, while the cop had stopped us. This was last year. Us. Mother and her son. Then he tries to claim we don't have insurance on it, and we just paid it last week. That's bull. He said, don't even bring that up. But then they put on there pretty much like neglect, like we had neglected on the paper. They put something that I didn't like the way they put it. And then a speeding, that he was saying, a violation for seatbelt or speeding or something. I don't know. It's like, but he said, why were y'all driving so slow? I'll tell you why. Because that light has flashed people with a bright white camera light. A camera flash for turning right on red. It'll turn on you. It'll go green, 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 yellow, red. Boom. Flash you send you a ticket in the mail. And we turned right on red one time, and they sent us a ticket. That was back in 2008 when they installed it. Just be careful. Because these people, the cops out there that, they're supposed to be doing their job, but instead they're harassing people who are doing nothing. Now, there are good officers, there are bad officers, and there are those that are doing their job, and there's those who are harassing and looking for trouble when they could be getting those who are actually doing something that might be endangering other people's lives, like the ones I saw drinking, the ones I saw doing other things or focusing on something else on a road that was very dangerous, or the ones that were, it just peeves me, ticks me off. But you know how it is. This is why people get so frustrated at the system, so frustrated at the harassment of the system that we see in place. That's why people get so frustrated and angry at it. I'm not one of those crazy people. I'm not one of those people that are like that, but it just makes you mad. It makes you frustrated. Going back outside right now to get some of the stuff in the house. So just be careful and be aware. If a light's got a camera on it, try to go around it. Try to avoid it if you can, if you know. And yeah. Because they will try to find something on you, and they will try to get you. Some of them will. They don't all do that. There was one in another county away from us months ago. Actually, last year, I think. And he wanted to meet his quota, so he stopped us. A mother and her son. He stopped us, and was like, "What was that? What'd you say?" And I was just asking a simple question. I said, "Can't you pay this fee online?" He said, "Oh, yeah," and I started recording him with my phone, and it was a whole other ball game. That's my foot. It was a whole other ball game. The cops around here, they're paid off, and literally everything happens here, and they just let it go. Several motorcycles just swerved around traffic and just flying down the road. And what do? They're going to stop us. Like that truck right there that's going way too fast. Way too fast. Like 80 miles per hour in a 45 zone. And yet, I had a truck that almost ran me over. Cop goes after it. Yeah. Lets it go. He decides to just go. Let it go. Some cops have been threatened. And then I have watched them stop someone, get pulled up behind, and then they just let them go. Yeah, I've seen it all. And yet they go after people like us who are just trying to barely make ends meet already, buying some groceries, which costs an arm and a leg in this economy, and they want to make you pay a fine. But anyway, just be careful around those cameras and just be aware. Alright, much love. Signing out. Several weird things that happened today I want to talk about too. Bye.